You know, in gaming, as in life, it's the little things that trip you up. Maybe you can think of some. Hi, folks. Old Man Grognard here, and I'm going to talk about the little fiddly bits of gaming that tend to trip people up, especially if you're a GM. Now, as a GM, you should know how the game works, at least on a basic level. If you're the GM, you should know it a little deeper than that, but bear with me here. As a player, I always advise, um, and it's hard to advise this now because with later editions, they sort of give you kind of like ways to do this or not do it or to pin these things down. Um, I don't get to know my character as a player until about 3 games in. Then I know exactly what he's about. Well, maybe not exactly, but pretty darn close. And I give it 3 games. I don't worry about if I come up with a great, cool concept. Great. What's his personality? What's he like? Well, let's find out. Let's play. That's how I do it. There are like 5th edition and other games where it's like, okay, do you have a goal? Do you have a thing? Do you have, who's your best friend? What's the most important thing in life? I don't really care. Ask me 3 games in. I will know. Certain games like Champions that give you disadvantages, that gives you some kind of an idea of his personality. And there are other games that do that too, which is good. That's called story hooks for the GM. But on the GM side, I was hit on the head with this last night in a game I was running. I was running Mutant Future. I haven't run this in a while. Thought I knew it. I know BX. I thought I knew this. Well, more or less, I did know it, but I I was caught off guard a few times. Now, being caught off guard isn't a bad thing as a GM. That's what I wing it. I like winging it. I really do. If they throw something at me, how am I going to react to this? What am I going to do about it? And I usually come up with something. But every once in a while, there's a rule thing that comes up that throws me off guard. For instance, one of the fun things about Mutant Future is if somebody's playing a mutant animal, plant, or human, what are the mutations? You roll them up. Okay, fine. You roll them up, and my players rolled up their mutations, and as a GM, I forgot about them. I just, because I didn't have a copy of their sheet in front of me or anything. I don't do that all that much. If I do that, I'll do it in my GM book. I'll write down what their basic, stats are, what's their AC, what's their saves, and whatever mutations they are. Well, this game, they were fighting something, and one of the characters popped up and says, "I'm going to use my mind thrust." Deer in the headlights look for me. Okay, we'll do that. How do you do mental combat again? It's right there on the screen. What's your willpower? And the creature's willpower is, it's not written down. Okay, I just sort of ad-libbed something, and it worked because they did it. So I made a note to myself: look at the mind control, look at the mind powers and mind combat in Mutant Future. See, I always think that everything should have like one combat, even mental. There's an AC that should be your mental AC too, or if you have a mental AC, you can use that. Whatever. I don't like this separate sub ruling or subsystem for other things. That's one of the reasons I don't like psionics, because it doesn't work like regular, and especially in D&D, it doesn't work like regular combat. And it's almost like I have to. I don't want in the middle of something. If there's a psionicist and they want to do mind battle with, say, a mind flayer or something like that, I don't want to have to mentally shift gears and do that when we're in the heat of battle. I just want to say, okay, roll to hit. That's all. So I have to go back into this book and look up the mind powers and how mind combat works. I mean, that you do that anyway. If the players throw something at you, go, and even if you're great at ad-libbing and flying by the seat of your pants, you just go, you draw a blank, and then, you cut, like I said, ruling's not ruled. Make a ruling, get through it, study it up for next time because it's good. I mean, he's got the mutation. It's going to come up again. So that kind of thing, you gotta. And fortunately, my players are very forgiving. Thank you guys. And you just got to do it that way. So, and that also brings up the fact that it's kind of a reminder of the DM is not omniscient. I know I've seen guys like this, not very often, that have kind of an ivory tower mentality about DMing or GMing. That old saying, God, game, whatever, designer, guys, DMs aren't God. They may be the rest of the world, but you're still a referee. You have to interpret it. And you just can't have that mindset. I never liked that mindset. I never liked the DM versus players mindset because it is a cooperative storytelling thing, as I've said before. But some guys, it's almost like they're engineers or something. They get this ivory tower mentality. Oh, you're going to game in my world, are you? All right, let me give you the lowdown and the house rules or whatever. And they're very unforgiving for people, and they know everything. They think they know everything about everything, and if you throw them a curve, they will just get pissy about it, pretty much. I've seen guys where you do something they didn't expect and rocks fall, everybody dies. That's no way to play. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out because that just sort of stuck in my mind from the night before, and it's something that the DM has to deal with on a regular basis. If you don't know something, make the ruling, go look it up later, and correct it for the next time. Yeah, basic DMing 101, but sometimes they so far out of left field. Either you got to look it up in the book for next time, or you got to make a ruling at the moment and reevaluate it and decide that's the way it's going to work in your game if the rules don't cover it. All right. Well, I gave you my little lesson I learned. So don't forget to write me at oldmangrognard@gmail.com. If you have oldmangrognard@gmail.com, I'll get it out if you have any kind of questions or comments or anything like that. So until next time, bye-bye.